Good morning. Um, Today I'm going to talk about balance and duality, and I'm going to do that by reading from my blog, Cosmic Jake's World. I posted this a couple of months ago when I first figured out how to publish a blog, and I think it's quite a valid posting. And so I'm going to read it now. I haven't posted much on my blog site because I've been trying to figure out how to post videos on YouTube, which I think is a more effective method of communication because, of course, it has the visual context component. But, of course, the written word is also has a great value that it's difficult to achieve on an ad-libbed video presentation. And that is because, of course, when you're writing things down, you can be concise and you can write down a line, and if it's not quite how you think it should be, if you think the meaning is not quite as in line with what you were trying to convey, then you can rewrite it. And so the written word is often more concise and more carefully thought through and less prone to mistakes or errors. So I'm going to read this, from my blog, Cosmic Jake's World, and pretty much leave it at that. So here we go. I'll throw my little reading glasses. Okay. Balance. Planet Earth manifests duality. Everything comes in opposites, positive and negative, male and female, left hand and right hand, etc. This juxtaposition of opposites, by definition, necessitates the natural order of things to be one of balance. This balance is dynamic, i.e. the balance is maintained by the constant change of all the ingredients which make up this balance, this reality. As the saying goes, the only constant in nature is change. Scientists have long recognized this to be the case in the physical world. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. What is not often acknowledged is that this balance of opposites applies to all situations in life. In human relationships, we often state our opinion concerning a situation only to find someone else has taken the opposite position. The more vehement becomes our declaration, the more vehement becomes our opponent's position. We have all experienced this situation, and it applies equally to the policies of nations as it does to the relationships between individuals. Wise individuals throughout history have tried to teach us that putting energy into our side of a situation results in a corresponding increase in the energy that goes into the opposite view. The energy increases on both sides to the point when a clash occurs and violence may well result. In basic terms, this is how karma manifests. The law of karma is the law of balance. Can we use this law to avoid confrontation in our everyday lives? Yes, we can. But it requires us to change the dynamics of the situation by refusing to play our part in maintaining the balance. The teaching to turn the other cheek is a well-known example of such an instance. If we refuse to balance the situation, then the situation must change. It has to. When I was cycling home from school one day as a young lad, I was ambushed by some kids from another school who threw stones and hurled insults at me. I was saddened by this and tried to think of a way to correct what I knew to be an example of incorrect behavior. So I went home and I got some money out of my money box, and I went to the candy store and I bought some candies, and I returned to the scene of the ambush. On seeing my return, my opponents hid in the bushes and gleefully repeated their attempted intimidation. However, instead of throwing anything harmful at them, I tossed candies into the air as I rode on by. On stopping up the road a ways, I looked back to see that my action had changed the situation. The kids were picking up the candies and were looking up the road without any sign of scorn or derision. And I rode back towards them and was greeted with friendly gestures and an acknowledgement that not all the kids from my school were idiots, and we were friends. Whenever I saw these kids in the future, no animosity was ever shown towards me. This event made a lasting impression on me, and it taught me how to diffuse confrontational situations. By refusing to balance their actions, I had changed the dynamics, and they were, by the laws of karma, required to balance my goodwill with a corresponding display of goodwill towards me. By studying the laws of karma, the laws of balance, we can go through our life doing our bit to turn negative situations into positive situations. If humans were to learn these laws, then harmony with all things and between all peoples would result. And I will just add a little appendix there, and that is to say that really what constitutes a positive vis-a-vis a negative situation is whether or not the flow of energy is impeded. In a negative situation, the free flow of energy, which is really spiritual energy, spiritual power, the free flow of energy is impeded, and that is what makes a negative situation. And in a positive situation, in a good situation, the flow of energy is not impeded. The energy flows freely, and there is no confrontation and no clashes between people taking sides. And ultimately, to avoid taking sides, one has to not judge. And of course, this is one of the basic principles of wise teachings throughout the ages, and that is, judge not, lest ye be judged. So my message is to maintain the balance, let the energy flow freely, and don't make any judgments or take sides. And that way you will be able to mediate, you will be able to see clearly what a given situation is, and hopefully what needs to be done to remove blockages in the energy flow, and life will be stress-free, or at least nobody's perfect. I mean, I'm definitely in a good position to say that. So we'll say we'll live lives with greatly reduced stress. Stress is caused by the build-up by blockages, by the build-up of energy, until the stress gets to such a point that something has to give. So to avoid stress, we must keep the energy flowing freely. So flow freely today and always. And with that, I'll say goodbye. Oh, by the way, this picture behind me is one of my favorites. It's my dear wife and me on our wedding day in 2003. And I think it's self-explanatory. It's rather nice. Thank you very much. And we'll see you later. Goodbye. Thank you.